If you've ever said that you're not an angry person, my invitation right now is to look again. Anger doesn't always roar. Sometimes it shuts down. Sometimes it smiles. Sometimes it overfunctions. Sometimes it cries in private. Because let's be honest, we've always grown up around this phrase, around nice girls, nice guys, we just don't get angry. But this is the thing. Anger is a very natural occurring emotion. It is not something that is bad, that is happening, that is shameful. It's actually a very fundamental aspect of the human experience. The thing is that we've been socialized to presume that when anger is arising, something is bad and wrong with us. That it's something that needs to be controlled, it needs to be pushed away, it needs to be regulated. What I have found in myself and in my clients, that when we suppress and push down our anger, it comes up through the body, through physical and mental emotional symptoms such as depression, resentment, bitterness, passive aggression, the inability to view life with a glass half full. And for myself growing up, anger in the household was not really tolerated. When angry temper tantrums would arise when I would be a small child, I was locked in the basement until I would stop crying and I would stop being angry. Well, in those moments, what was actually needed was to be held and to be witnessed by a loving parent who was there to co-regulate my nervous system with me. But instead, and what we do to many children in society, is we leave them alone to feel their emotions. We just wait until the energy has passed through them. But in reality, this just means that the energy gets stuck inside the body. It doesn't disappear and dissipate because you put the child out of sight. In fact, no. They form two fundamental beliefs about themselves. My true expression of this emotion is not welcome. And if I express my true feelings, I will be left by myself. I will be alone. So therefore, this cultivated socialization of my anger is not acceptable. If I want to stay in relationships with my parents, with my friends, with my teachers, with anybody in society, I'm not allowed to express anger. That is what most of us are carrying around inside of our heads. Now, the thing is that anger really, really matters. It is such a vital signal that's giving you information. It is telling you when something of value has been crossed. Whether that's a boundary, whether that's a personal value that you hold, whether this is a need of yours that's not being met in that moment. To not allow your anger is to shut down this messaging service inside of your brain and your body. And if you do not identify with anger, you're probably struggling with saying no to people and requests in your life. You're probably exhausted. You probably have an autoimmune disease. You probably have an issue with asserting your wishes, desires, and wants. Maybe you can't even identify what you want because it's so far pushed down your list of priorities to actually focus on something for yourself. You might have trouble leaving toxic dynamics with exes, family members, colleagues, and workplaces because the energy of anger has not been encouraged in your life. I hear you. Now, how did I find out that I had a problem with anger? Well, I definitely didn't grow up without the ability to be outspoken. So probably on the outside, people are like, well, I don't think she's struggling with anger. But the thing is, I was still stuck in my nice girl tendencies. And how did I find this out? I was chronically tired, exhausted from not standing up for what I wanted and for speaking my truth, for staying in places that were draining my soul of their life. Every conversation that I sat in that I didn't want to be in. For every time that I smiled or brushed things off with laughter because I didn't know how to actually say what I really felt inside. Spoiler alert, I was not even in touch with what was going on inside. I was numb. I was shut off, distracting myself with alcohol, drugs, and partying and friends and surface level bullshit. I was carrying this martyr energy of doing everything for everyone. For looking after my parents, for taking on extra tasks at work, for always having the emotional energy to check in on other people, but not actually giving that energy to myself. So if you're recognizing yourself in some of what I'm saying, then you can start very basic. With emotional release, we're talking about embodiment. And embodiment literally means using your body to do tasks. Even writing a letter is embodiment. Your hand is moving to express an internal feeling outside in the structure of words and paper. If you want to use your voice to speak, to have dialogues with the energy, the presence of these people that you need to speak to, please do so. I want you to reflect on what are you angry about that you have never said out loud. If you could remove all of the filters, all of the niceness, the politeness, the considerateness, the empatheticness, if you could get down to the raw truth of really what your soul, your ego wants to say in that moment, it doesn't need to make sense, it doesn't need to be fair, but it's there inside of you. If you could say that out loud, what would you say? Who would you tell to F off? Who would you tell that you're disgusted in them? Who would you say, no, I'm not going to do that for you anymore. Go away. Leave me alone. This lives inside of all of us. It doesn't make you wrong or bad for finding space in your own practices, your own containers, your house, your room, your car, to let this energy find an expression. If you're in your bedroom, you can go even further by getting a pillow, getting a towel, blanket, squeezing them, using your hands, the energy of squeezing hands, forearms, biceps, to start to let your body express the stress that you're under. This is not about going into more meditation. This is not about going into more thinking. This is about dropping down from the thinking and just letting raw expression come through, without shaming yourself, without telling you that you're wrong, without having any form of judgment on how you need to be in that moment, but just letting yourself express. So I'm just going to leave you with this. Like, anger is literally not your enemy. It's literally this voice that's trying to lead you home to yourself. So let me know if this resonated for you. You can leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.